Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to our virtual information session that we're holding today from ATU. And today we're covering the topic of business management, tourism and hospitality. We are delighted to be joined by several colleagues and graduates, and we have a packed schedule to get through in the next 45 minutes. So hopefully you're sitting comfortably and you are ready to learn all about the offerings that are available from ATU. Just a couple of things to mention. We are recording this webinar and we will be making it available for anybody who hasn't been able to attend live. We'll be sending out a watch back link. So everything is available to you. If you have to drop off at any point as well, we will make sure we share that with you if you've registered for our event. So I'll just briefly jump into our agenda. So I'll give a quick overview of ATU and online and flexible learning. Everything we're covering today is about part-time learning at ATU in the discipline area of business, marketing, management, tourism and hospitality. We're going to break it down into specific areas. So we'll cover business and marketing, then management, and then tourism and hospitality. And throughout that, we'll be speaking to three of our graduates who are at different stages. Some have completed their studies, some are mid-studies. And so it'll be really interesting to hear their stories as well around how they've managed to study part-time with ATU in these discipline areas. And then we'll also cover a couple of things around what the next steps you can take, so applying and different ways that you can avail of funding and recognition of prior learning as well, which we will go into in more detail. So I won't introduce everybody individually until they're speaking, because we have 13 speakers in total. So again, it would probably take up too much time in today, but we'll go through them as we meet them and talk about the different programs that they want to spotlight. So without further ado, just to let you know that a bit of an overview about Atlantic Technological University. So we are a relatively new university, but we formed in April 2022 from a merger of 3 institutes of technology across Sligo, Donegal, Galway and Mayo. So now we have 9 campuses that span from Letterkenny in the very northwest of Ireland right down to Galway City. Across that, so that's one region area, but we have 9 campuses and over 550 programs available to study with us across 8 discipline areas. We are a university with over 26,000 students, so that's students studying full-time undergraduate courses as well as part-time, be that undergraduate or micro-credentials, or also postgraduate as well. So we've a huge community of learners that we are engaging with. Every year we have approximately 8,500 graduates. So they are exiting with major awards like their degrees and diplomas, but also then maybe some micro-credentials as well, so smaller bite-sized pieces of learning that they may be undertaking. To support that big community of learners, we have over 2,500 staff, and they're based across all our campuses, and they're there to support students, but also lead in the terms of teaching and learning as well. So just for anybody who maybe isn't sure, again, it sounds like we're relatively new, but we're built on the Institute of Technology that merged. We're 50 years in existence prior to that. So a good heritage there in terms of our ability to support our students. So our focus is on flexible learning. So when we talk about flexible learning at ATU, that is part-time delivery, and be that, we're talking about a lot of our student population are people who are actually in the workplace. They've maybe completed some level of study previously, and they're coming back maybe to top up some of their qualifications. So they may be exited at a certain level when they were a full-time student, and now they want to come back part-time and get to a next level. Many are driven by career progression. Again, it's a competitive jobs market at the minute, and we are finding that as we talk to our graduates, when they come back and study, whether it's to specialise in an area that maybe is now important in the workplace that wasn't there as part of their initial qualification, it really does help give them the edge when they're trying to progress in their career. And also, I suppose a lot of the drivers is around lifelong learning. So the idea that, the workplace is constantly changing. There's new skills and new areas there as well that people need to upskill in. So part-time learning allows for that. And we talk about part-time online learning, part-time blended learning. So some of that is some of our students, the first time they're on campus, it's when they're coming to visit us for graduations. Otherwise, other students are coming for blended delivery, so they may be coming into campus one day a week, or they're coming into campus once a semester for practicals or lab sessions. So again, the idea of these programs is that they are actually to suit those people who may have other commitments, be that life commitments, family commitments, or work commitments, and that they can fit the studying in around those commitments. So again, we have our students on, and generally we find that that's the driver and the motivators for those students. So then we'll go straight into our discipline area that we're talking about today. So we are talking about our Faculty of Business across ATU, and for our September recruitment campaign, so these are programs that are starting this September coming, we have 75 courses available and are open for applications. And as I mentioned there's 41 that are available to online students, so they can study from anywhere. We've 18 blended, where students, they may be in close proximity or within commutable distance to one of our campuses where they're being delivered. And then we've 16 on campus, but they maybe are part-time on campus rather than full-time on campus. The levels that are available, so I've mentioned we've postgraduate, which would be level 9. So we've 33 postgraduate courses available. Level 8 is an honours degree, and we've 8 available at level 8. We have level 7, which is a degree, which is there's 23 at that, and then level 6, which is a higher certificate, there's 11 available at that level. In terms of then within the breakdown, we're going to go through business programs, we'll go through marketing, we have management programs and tourism and hospitality as well. So I will, as I said, we have a packed schedule, so I'm going to keep going, and so we'll go straight into the business area. So we've 25 programs available to business students, and there's an overview of them there. So the postgraduate, and a lot of our postgraduate programs, you'll hear from our academic colleagues, they may be available at master's level, but there may also be postgraduate certificates and postgraduate diplomas. So we'll learn more about that. Our undergraduate offering, again, we have a high demand for students who are looking to gain a business qualification. They may be studied in a different area, or they maybe are working now where they may be specialised in science or in engineering or another area, and they want to gain those business skills to progress in their career. And then micro-credentials or minor awards are anything up to 30 credits of learning. And these are maybe one semester or 1 year of learning, and they are smaller qualifications that maybe again will help introduce a specific specialist area. So there's an option there as well. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to hand over to Dr. Aine Doherty, and she is going to talk to us about the higher certificate in business. So Aine, are you able to have a chat through this programme that's available?
Absolutely, Cleo. Thank you so much. So first up is the Higher Certificate in Business, and it is a part-time blended program that's delivered over 3 years. And this program has been designed for those who are returning to education, or maybe for those who never had the chance to go to higher education in the first place. And it's a widely recognized university qualification, and business degrees are in high demand, both home, nationally, and across the globe. And we're delighted to announce that this program has now been approved for SUSI funding. So you can apply directly to SUSI. And if you are eligible, you can have your fees covered. So delivery takes place 2 nights per week. The first night is a Monday night, which is on campus. And then on a Wednesday night, we will deliver the program online. All of the modules are very accessible and practical, and you'll learn about different modules in the areas of management, marketing, IT, finance, accounting, human resources, economics, law, ethics, and corporate social responsibility. And they're all designed to have practical outcomes for you and for your learning. There's also an option to progress onto the level 8 Bachelor of Honours degree in business once you have completed the higher certificate, which is also delivered part-time. So if you'd like to take the next step in your career, please do get in touch with us. We actually have a roadshow taking place in early June across Donegal in several different locations on Wednesday, the 4th of June in Donegal Town, the 5th of June in Buncrana, and on campus in Letterkenny on Monday, the 9th of June. And those are taking place in the evening at 5:30. You can come along and talk to our past students and also to some of the lecturers on the programme. So we look forward to hearing from you, and I wish you all the best in your future studies.
Cleo, you're on mute.
Apologies, I forgot. I was on mute there. Thank you, Anya, for giving that overview. We're going to move on now to Bryan Coyne. So Bryan is going to talk to us about the Masters of Science in Marketing. Bryan, are you happy to go through this slide here?
Absolutely. So thanks everyone for joining in. What we offer through ATU Sligo is a fully online Master of Science in Marketing. Now, this is a part-time online course over 2 years at level 9. And the thing that we are really passionate about is about supporting your learning journey. So if you want, you can do the full 2-year MSc, but we also have postgraduate certificate and diploma options, which are shorter in duration. So you can see from the course overview that the modules that we have are very much tailored to the modern workplace. So things like business analytics, digital marketing, design thinking, all these things to equip graduates with the skills to thrive and progress. Because it's a postgraduate course, we're really passionate about you can come in with a sort of a more general business degree, and the idea is that we can help you on your journey if you want to specialize in marketing. So that's fully online, and I'm delighted to say in the few years we've had it, we've had students from as far away as Japan and Germany and Belgium. So it really is classes online at night, generally twice a week during term time. But we have our recordings available online. We have a very active virtual learning environment where we leave your resources, and we try and sort of keep the assessment being as relevant as possible to make you feel like you have a lot of good projects at the end of it. So if you want any more information, you can follow the link there and get in touch.
Great, thank you, Bryan. In terms of this program, and who is it suitable for? Like, do people have to have a business degree to come onto it in terms of the entry requirements, or is there anything like that needed?
So in terms of the entry requirements, generally we would just look for someone to have an ordinary degree, and we have more specifics in the prospectus, but we are really passionate about, oftentimes we'll have students who come in who are working in marketing, but they just don't have the formal qualification. So we have embedded recognition of prior learning into our course. So you're able to get exemptions from assignments and modules if you can demonstrate that you already have that skill demonstrated sufficiently. So it's something that we're really keen on, and because we want to make sure that we can cater to you if you already have some of the work in the bag, that you can progress then and then sort of minimize your workload.
Excellent, great. Look, thank you, Bryan, for giving that overview. And again, this is a relatively new program. I believe it was new modules were introduced again to keep up to date with the different areas of marketing that are now prevalent in every role. So definitely worth finding out more about that. Thank you, Bryan, for coming on today. We're going to move on now to speak to Kevin Derrane. So Kevin, you are going to talk to us about the higher diploma in business analytics.
Thanks, Cleo. Hi, everyone. You're all very welcome. So the Higher Diploma in Business Analytics is a fully online part-time course delivered over 1 year. It's a conversion course for graduates of level A programs in any discipline, and it's there for people looking to upskill or reskill or maybe change their career paths. There's no need for any prior knowledge of any of the modules outlined there. We start at the basics and slowly work our way up. The course is a Springboard funded course. So what this means is that if you're in employment, you only pay 10% of the fees, and if you're unemployed, then the course is free. So it's a fully online course. About 90% of it is delivered asynchronous. So this means online pre-recorded lectures, and the other 10% then is synchronous. So generally live assessments or the odd live lecture or tutorial. And each module then has its own release date. So for example, database science development there will be released every Monday at 12 p.m. Some of the key modules then as well, and something to note, our semesters are actually flipped. We actually have a January start rather than your traditional September start. And just going down to the modules then, so For business analytics, you'll cover something tools and techniques such as Power BI. For database design development, you will look at the MySQL database management system and the SQL programming language. Programming scripting, you look at Python. And in semester 2, then you look at stuff like Tableau and MongoDB and MongoQL query language. And that's pretty much it then. And if you have any further information, just get in contact with the email below there.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Kevin. Just a quick question again. Who is this, like, where do you find students are working, or who is this most suitable for?
Generally, it's a mix. We've had a mix of every student's working. Again, students looking to convert courses as well. Maybe you've done American in undergrad and this kind of interests you. Maybe you're unemployed and you're out of college for several years. It's fine as well. Or maybe you're working in a job and maybe you're working with databases, but you want to learn to actually figure out how to actually go ahead and take that to the next level and actually analyze the data and gain some insights to it. It's kind of the perfect course for that and allow you to upskill and learn the skills necessary to become a business analyst.
Very good. And I'm guessing that there is a lot of demand in the workplace for these kind of skills at the moment, given the amount of data we're all generating.
Huge demand, and we had over 60 enrollments last year in the course as well. So it's
excellent.
Very popular.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, Kevin, for going through that. And again, the high level information is there, and there's a lot more information on the atu.ie/flexible website there, or just look up the program title there as well within the search on the atu.ie website. And just to mention, there is Q&A available throughout the webinar as well, so that you'll see a Q&A box up there. We have a team that are available to answer any questions. So if anything that any of our lecturers mentioned about the course and you have a query about it, feel free to drop it in and we'll respond back to you then as well. So again, thank you, Kevin, for taking the time to come on today. We'll move on now. We're still within the discipline area of business, and we will talk to Sharon Boyle, who Sharon is going to talk to us about the digital media and marketing masters that is available. So Sharon, are you okay to run through that with everybody?
Yes, thank you, Cleo. Hello, everybody. So the Master of Science in Digital Media Marketing is a 2-year program, and it's part-time and fully online. There are also options for doing a 30-credit diploma or a 30-credit postgraduate certificate or a 60-credit diploma if you wanted to do it in smaller pieces. The modules have been developed with the idea of being highly practical. We've been running this program over the last 6 years, and we found that people really enjoy the practical elements of the program. Now, the program itself, it runs online, but we do have live sessions. So we run lunchtime sessions during the week, usually 3 lunchtimes during the week, and then once a month we have longer sessions. Now, all of these sessions are recorded, and then there's additional material available for students to work through in their own time. So the key features of the program is that we really develop a community of learning and an opportunity to network with other students on the program. The lecturers are very accessible and willing to help. It's very much project-based learning, so there's no actual written exams, and students can focus on real-world projects. They can do workplace projects if that's applicable to them, or some passion project that they always wanted to do. So the projects then can also be combined across modules. So, for example, we might have a user experience design plan, build a website, configure the analytics and the SEO for that, and develop a marketing strategy. So students find they have something very concrete when they finish their modules that they can actually showcase for interviews and use within their own jobs. So we focus a lot on developing strategies and workflows for managing your digital assets. And we use tools like Google Analytics, Figma, Miro, and a variety of AI tools. And there's also the opportunity to work on a major project that could be a collaboration with industry. And students are also guided through ethical data collection methods that is suitable for market research. In terms of career opportunities, our graduates are working in a variety of sectors. They're working in SMEs from a variety of backgrounds, hospitality, retail, multinational. We have people working in the pharmaceutical industry, sports and education. And the kind of roles you could expect would be marketing managers, social media strategists, digital marketing consultants, digital brand and marketing executives. And we also have entrepreneurs that have started their own business from on foot of doing this program. And it's suited to people that are looking to change careers, advance their careers, looking to do postgraduate studies in a cutting edge program. And it also suits people that might have been out of the workforce, such as stay-at-home parent or people that have been laid off in their industry. And I suppose our focus at the moment really is with the advent of AI, that we develop professionals that can evaluate and harness new tools as they emerge, and that they're able to create authentic and accurate content while also considering ethical and sustainable practices. So that's in a nutshell. And also we have a Digital West conference that's associated with the programme that's taking place on October the 10th on the Mayo campus. So you could meet lecturers and students at this event, as well as a wide variety of attendees.
Excellent, great. Thank you so much, Sharon, for giving a good overview of that. I think you've kind of covered who it's suitable for and the career opportunities. So I think it's been given a good overview for everybody, and good to hear about the AI and the authenticity of content creation as well. It's obviously a challenge for everybody across the board at this stage. Yeah. Thank you very much. So that was the last spotlight in our business and marketing section. So we'll move on now to the management area. So again, across ATU, we do offer a range of programs at different levels that are in the area of management, in terms of like people management, leadership, supervisory management, all those. So you'll see there's a list there, undergraduate and postgraduate, as well as micro-credentials and minor awards as well. So we'll move on then just to speak to our lecturer, Esther Quinn. So Esther, if you're happy enough to just give an overview, and I know you have a graduate as well that you're going to bring in your discussion.
Thanks, Cleo. So a brief overview of what we offer here in HU Sligo. We have a 1-year postgraduate certificate in professional leadership and a 2-year Masters of Arts in Professional Leadership. Both are level 9 programs. So these programs are really aimed at supporting development of knowledge, skills and competencies in leadership roles. You will be able to see there some of the core concepts explored include strategy, obviously leadership, then financial management, organisational psychology, and additional electives then range from business sustainability and human rights to managing remote teams and governance. So this programme appeals, Cleo, to both early career leaders who are seeking to progress their career and also to more established professionals. And it appeals to public, private and not-for-profit sectors. So we've had a really diverse cohort of students on this programme, which is lovely. It works really well and really enriches the programme. But we are going to hear from one of our graduates, Niamh Harkin, who graduated in 2021. But just finally, one or two things to note. This programme, it's delivered 2 evenings a week online. All classes are recorded for students that can't attend live. And also it is assessed by way of continuous assessment. So there are no exams on this programme. And there is SkillsNet funding available for the programme also. So that's a quick overview. I'm going to ask Niamh a few questions about her experience, having graduated from the Masters of Arts in 2021. So thank you, Niamh. I might firstly ask you, going back to 2020, what motivated you to undertake this postgraduate programme?
Thanks, Esther. Well, I suppose it's maybe Cleo touched on it earlier on. It's that idea of undertaking a master's for career progression. But I suppose particularly in relation to this course, the Master of Arts in Professional Leadership, it was that idea of being able to build on your existing qualifications and your experience, and then to enhance that with a very practical and academic course that was built and designed in consultation with industry at the time as well. So it was very much building on the experience that we had, and then delivering or coming out with a qualification that was relevant to industry at the time.
Great. Thanks, Niamh. And what was your overall experience of the Masters?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lovely cohort of students on the Masters, very, very close group, which was fantastic. Despite the fact that it's delivered online, I suppose maybe that's sometimes something people might be a little bit cautious of. Would you make connections? But certainly, my experience of that was excellent, probably enhanced by the blended approach where we did meet on site a number of times. We had incredible support from all of the various lecturers on the course, but also from the academic writing staff, from the library staff. So really from the institute itself, we had great support. And it was very clearly structured program. It made it very easy to progress through it. And also the fact that it was very easy well, I say very easy, but it was very much designed around the fact of full-time work and being able to incorporate learning. It maybe wasn't easy, but certainly it was structured around that idea of being able to incorporate full-time work with your studies, with the delivery of the lectures in the evening. So that was wonderful.
Great. And with regards to since you graduated then, how did the Masters potentially impact your career?
Yeah, so we had a broad range of people on the course, with different background, different experience. We had international students, we had national and local students from Sligo. And I was just trying to think back to it. And I think really every single person that qualified at the end either moved on within their own organisation, they moved out of their own organisation, and as I think somebody else mentioned, one has even started up their own company. So went on to be very entrepreneurial and successfully started their own company. From my own point of view, I did progress internally, almost directly after completing it, but actually it kind of was the foundation and the kind of bedrock for me to continue on in academia. So I've actually since progressed into a full-time PhD, which I'm in the third year of. So it very much was a very huge change, and had a huge impact on me personally and on my career. Yeah.
That's a great testimony for your learning and to go on doing PhD, which is an amazing achievement. So lastly, any advice for anyone that's thinking about embarking on the Masters or the postgrad cert?
Absolutely, the advice would be to do it. If you're thinking about it, you probably already have identified it as something that is relevant to you. So I would say absolutely do it. The advice that I would give would be to engage with the services, engage with academic writing, engage with the library, engage with anybody who's willing to help you. And particularly when you're moving from industry into academia, that whole change piece around learning to do academic writing, it is a big change from what we're used to in industry. So I would say do it, but definitely use the services, and the ATU provides so much support. So engage with your lecturers and engage with the institution, but do it. And also don't forget about the RPL, because if you have prior learning that can be recognised, absolutely use that as well to your advantage, because it's a great opportunity. But yeah, do it.
Okay, thank you so much, Niamh. It was great to hear your insights. Having done the programme, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Esther and Niamh. Again, lovely to hear those stories. You know, we have our lecturers talking about the academic learning that's possible and all the different modules. So that's the real practical piece of kind of what you'd be going through. But then when you hear a student who's gone through it and, you know, is living proof of kind of getting out the other side as well, and at the impact that can have. So it's lovely to bring that all together in these webinars. I'm going to move on now. So thanks to you both. And we will speak to Ivan. I might get my slides to move on now. So, Ivan, are you available? Ivan Toner?
Great, Cleo. Yes, I am indeed.
Yes. So Ivan, work away there.
All right, Cleo. So this is a level 7 diploma, and what we aim at essentially anyone who has any form of engagement with employees. So you could imagine we're talking about HR professionals, we're talking about managers, we're talking about owners, we're also talking about professionals, law professionals as well, because as you can see in terms of the modules that we cover quite a broad range of different topics and different areas. So we start at the very, very beginning, the recruitment process, and trying to ensure that you recruit the right person. And then what we do is we move them through managing those employees during the course of their employment. And of course, as we all are probably aware of, there's a huge amount of employment legislation out there that has to be complied with. So we have an entire module that deals with employment legislation and policies. And again, another area that has become hugely significant and hugely important is the whole area of equality and equality law. So again, we devote an entire module in relation to equality law. And then what we do is we look at the employees themselves, and we look at how we ensure that employees that we take quite a period of time to recruit in the first place, that we retain those employees and we foster the right type of relationship with those employees. So employee relations becomes an important part of the course, and there's a module devoted to that. And employee well-being is another hugely important area in employment. So again, we spend time in relation to that. And what I would say in relation to the course is that one only needs to look at the media, the newspapers, and the number of employment cases that are coming before the Workplace Relations Commission to demonstrate that these are very live issues. They're very live issues for anyone who is involved with employees and employment law in general. And what I always say is that it's very important that you approach it in the correct manner, because if you don't approach it in the correct manner, then there can be serious and very significant financial repercussions, especially if the matter ends up before the WRC, the Workplace Relations Committee, or Commission, I should say. In terms of entry requirements, so the entry requirement, it's the Leaving Certificate or equivalent, or we do take into account relevant prior experience. So if you believe that you have relevant prior experience, please get in contact with us and we can assess that and hopefully welcome you onto the program. In terms of delivery, so what we do is we deliver 2 modules at a time. And so we have, the modules are covered over 2 separate evenings. It's 100% online. Lectures are recorded. So even if you find, due to family commitments, due to work commitments, that you're not able to attend the live lecture online, then it's there recorded. So it's flexible in that way. What's also flexible about it is that it's 100% assessment-based, assignment-based, so there are no end-of-semester exams. And what we try to do is we try to focus our assessments by tapping into practical real-life scenarios, and perhaps those scenarios might have arisen from the point of view of students' own experiences as well. So we try to tap into that. And just finally, it's approved by the CIPD, which is the professional body for HR professionals. So again, that is hugely significant in relation to the course. So what I would encourage, if you're interested in it, I would encourage you to get in contact, and you can see the contact details, and Wendy McGarvey would be delighted to assist you in relation to any queries that you might have in relation to it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ivan, for giving a really comprehensive overview. And that's at a level 7. So again, you kind of mentioned, it may be people who haven't studied or who haven't specialized in HR previously. They might have studied in a different area, but now are involved in the HR function within their business. So I think that's an important kind of thing to mention there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That, in terms of the students that are in front of you, is that what you find, the cohorts that you have?
Absolutely. We have quite a wide range of different students who have previously attended or have taken part in the course. And as I say, you have people who are managers, who are owners of businesses, who might have encountered employment issues in the past and want to essentially upskill in relation to that particular area. And then we have individuals who have more of a day-to-day involvement in terms of employment law and exposure to employment law. And they're the types of people who want to formalize it in terms of a qualification. So that's essentially what this course is aimed at. It's aimed at those wide range of individuals. So it's quite wide in terms of the cohort that we recruit for it.
Excellent. Great, Ivan. I am going to leave it there, but as I said before, if anybody has any questions specifically on this program or any other one we've mentioned, the Q&A box is there and we will get back to you, or the contact details are there as well. So we'll move on now to Eva McMorrow. Eva is going to talk to us about this program, the Masters in HRM and Employee Relations, and Eva also has a student to talk to. So Eva, the floor is yours.
Hi, how are you? So this is a Master of Science in Human Resource Management and Employee Relations. You can study it in blended mode as a part-time or full-time students. So part-time mode is over 2 years and full-time is over 1 year. Now, we run the program last September. First time, and we a little bit redesigned the delivery mode for the next semester. And I suppose the full-time and part-time students will be and now have block releases in some of the modules. So half of the program will run online, one evening per week, and then there'll be 5 days on site for another module. So that's roughly 1 day a month. So that's the delivery anyway. Now the course is fully CIPD accredited, so you will gain a professional membership of CIPD when you complete, and you can also take the option of postgraduate diploma of 60 credits when you do not engage with the dissertation, that is 30 credits. So if you're thinking about maybe short-term course, you can just do the postgraduate diploma and then decide whatever you wish to do the dissertation afterwards. Now, why is this program quite unique in Ireland? It's the only HRM masters that actually has a focus on employee relations. So half of the program is employee relations. And I suppose it's the only blended program in Ireland as well. Now, so what will you do and what will you study during the year or two? The first semester, you kind of start with understanding of people behavior in the organization and research methods, etc. And I suppose the program is quite unique in this sense because not only that you're studying the traditional kind of organizational behavior field, but you also have input from labor process field. And again, that's a very unique field that really informs graduates on and people who study the program on how people behave in organizations. So beside the traditional leadership, motivation, organizational culture, you're looking at alienation, resistance, etc., to fully understand human behavior. And then you have some of the traditional HR functions covered in the program. So, for example, the recruitment, strategic HRM, training and development, performance management, etc., with some of the really contemporary themes like change management, sustainability, HR information systems, HR analytics, talent management, and downsizing, for example. But there is much, much more, so obviously. So I have a student here that is currently finished with all her exams, and I hope they all went well, Yen. And she's just working on her dissertation over the summer. So Yen, again, I have a question. What make you? Now Yen is studying full time, but she's also a full-time employee. So she has a full hands-on, I suppose, of studying and working at the same time. Now, Yen, can you tell us a little bit what motivated you to take up this course?
So I actually attended the University of Galway to do my undergraduate, and I just found that we didn't really have much of a focus throughout the course. Like, it was very general. I covered a lot of different areas of business, but I wasn't really very, I guess, educated in one specific area. So I kind of looked into originally staying with the university. I came across this course and I got in contact with some of the lecturers, and it kind of sold me on it. I was told what we'd be learning about, the approach to the course. I thought it was very, very good. I had an extra year to spare, I guess. I was just working. So I wanted to kind of get ahead of a lot of the people in my course that had done the 4-year option of my course. I had the 3 years done and graduated. It gave me an opportunity to kind of push myself a bit further on this year while I had the extra time, I guess.
Thank you. And so what is your experience up to date? What would you say about the program?
I really, really enjoyed the course, to be honest. I had only covered a very broad part of the HR kind of side of things through my course. And from the first week, I found everything very interesting, very practical. I've started using, skills that I've learned throughout this year in the job that I'm in now. I've managed to get promoted within my job while I've been here through the skills that I've been able to pick up from the course. I can see myself in different areas of life in general. I've been able to apply what I've been learning. I find it very relevant to not just work, but life in general. It's quite a flexible course as well. So like I found it very manageable to work full time and do two days, day and a half in on campus. I was probably lucky I had quite a flexible boss. I was able to do a lot of my reading and studying during my lunch breaks, or like today on my break. I'm able to do this. But yeah, that's kind of what I thought of the course this year.
Thank you. My next question was actually how your studies impacted your career, but you already kind of covered that, and congratulations to your promotion. So would you have any advice? Would you have any advice for anybody who's thinking of studying this course?
As a new graduate, when I was applying, the first thing I found was I didn't really have any industry experience, or I hadn't really, been in the workforce in HR or anything. So I was quite worried going in at the start, but I think it's very manageable for anybody who is coming from a different background, even not even a business background in general, to go into the course and really like gain a lot. I found like if you prioritize the course and like prioritize your studies along with everything else you have going on, like you will get a lot out of it. I found like over the 3 years that I spent in my undergraduate, like I didn't enjoy it half as much as I've enjoyed this year. The lecturers are great. They're very helpful. Like if you have any issues, the assignment schedule was very manageable. They made sure that we were all, having a balanced semester. Assignments would be, say, each module would be a different week, so you'd never have two things clashing, which I found very helpful, working a lot as well. Additional study and stuff like that, like even I think on the website you have it down for about 24 hours of additional independent study. I would say even working, like I managed to kind of get that in. Like if you put the extra hours in, you'll find the year is a lot easier. You'll gain a lot for yourself, not just to, I suppose, tick a box and check it off that you have another thing done. Overall, I probably would just recommend anybody to attend or apply for the course. I really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. It's great to hear that as a student experience. And we wish you good luck for the summer with your dissertation. Thank you very much for participating in this. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Eva and Yen, for going through that, and obviously very inspiring talk there in terms of your experience and bringing it all together, and understanding that you can balance the full-time work and also study as well is very impressive. So now I'm going to move on, and our final area is tourism and hospitality. So we have 3 lectures to talk through the different areas of tourism and hospitality, and we have a student as well going to tell her story. So I will just move on straight into the food business and product innovation, program, which is Conor McTiernan. So Conor, are you available to talk through that?
I am Chloe. Greetings
Great.
from Glenveigh. I'm up in the national park at the moment, so if my internet is a little sporadic, I apologise, but the views more than make up for it.
Fabulous. You enjoy that there.
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
So you were going to
This
speak to our
program,
graduate as well,
yeah,
Caroline, is it? And Caroline is going to
exactly. I've
talk
got
through her experience. Yeah.
Caroline from Castle Grove Country House is going to join us as well. So I suppose in terms of the program here, like many of the programs, we always go back to industry and ask industry what they want. And this program is very much industry led. The industry had talked about organizations that were established that were trying to maybe branch into new markets with new products, with new maybe systems or innovations. New people who are looking to develop second and third careers, who are looking at food as an opportunity to develop a business. And we also had upscaling and retraining going on within established companies. So listening to the industry, they wanted something that was innovative, that was practical, that was industry led, that was, and they wanted a cohort-based learning experience. So, like some of the other programs that people have talked about, we have both recorded and live sessions. We certainly encourage people to share experiences, because whether you're good at marketing and somebody else is good in finance, there's that sort of shared learning between the group. We've had 3 or 4 iterations of the program now, or 3 intakes, I think it is now. And we found that facilitating that shared knowledge transfer between the students is so important, because they do perk up their ears and listen or relay experiences, that positive or negative, when we talk about a certain topic. All of our program, because the program is industry led, we try as much as we can to have the students walk away with something tangible. So, for example, I had the strategic management module, and one of the challenges I set to students was to design an implementation strategy with key guidelines, key success indicators, key parameters, so that if they were moving into a new product, a new area, whatever it was, that and something in their business. And by making it as practical as possible, the students have something tangible to bring back to their, either they are the employer or to their employer. And I've asked them to think, it asked them to plan, it asked them to look at things from a different perspective. So, and I'm hoping maybe Caroline will be able to support that this is something that we've been successful in doing. Caroline, just double checking, are you there as well?
I'm here, Conor, yep.
Brilliant. So Caroline, similar to others, thank you very much for joining us, by the way, and fair play, because I am guessing that your summer season is in full throttle, and it's hard to get time off at lunchtime. So thank you, Caroline.
No problem. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
No, it was good. So I'm curious, Caroline, what motivated you to go back and take on this course in general, and maybe this course specifically?
Well, I suppose, to be honest, I mean, I'm very much involved in the food hospitality scene here in Donegal, and have been for many, many years. However, my background is in science. I studied in Queen's many years ago, and then I spent a lot of time in New York working in hospitality. So when I heard of the course, I was very interested in it, because I thought the modules were very relevant. And I thought they were very relevant to operations. Like you mentioned, the business strategy, there was finance, there was food safety and digital marketing. So I just thought it was a good way, even though we were doing this every day, to learn a little bit from an academic and just sort of challenge myself to think a little bit more and to get back in, and particularly around the finance and the digital marketing. I want to learn a little bit more theory in that. And I found it very, very, like you just said there, I found it very relevant. And I'm still using the information that I've learned, very much so on a day-to-day, which is very practical and relevant to the job that I'm doing.
Good, Caroline. Excellent.
And
And
also
in
just to
terms,
mention as
oh,
well,
sorry,
during
go on. Yeah,
COVID, Conor,
yeah,
when we were closed, we did a lot of takeaway and we dabbled in products. So even though I'm
yes.
in the hospitality side, it was very relevant for me to sort of learn a little bit more on the product side as well. So that was very beneficial too.
Good. And I'm curious, Caroline, how did you find the blend of live and recorded material? How did you find, working with different people, maybe from different industries or different levels of experience? What was your overall experience of being on a course like that?
Sure. Well, I found it very good in the sense that it was, you could be there and be live and talk to others and learn from others, like you just said. And we do all learn from each other and different actual experiences versus all theory. So that was definitely very beneficial. I also like the fact that everything was recorded. So if you did miss something, for example, that it was readily available. But also, I would like to point out just to anybody listening or thinking of doing this, the amount of extra material that was there that wasn't necessarily covered was really, really significant. There's a lot of extra reading, which I would put into my, in your advice piece. Definitely get as much of that, download as much of that information that you can. You may not use it all throughout the course, but there was a lot of relevant stuff that I found very beneficial that I was able to take away and use and still using.
Brilliant, Caroline. Thanks. And you talked about being able to pivot the business during the crisis. How did the course impact you in other ways? Did it give you confidence? Did it come up with new ideas? Maybe identify new markets?
All of the above. So all of the above, definitely
Good.
confidence, challenge myself to go back to academic learning, reading, writing, all of that discipline, to make time out of my day to study, to do it, for deadlines, to all of that sort of stuff. Absolutely. Because in my world, it's full on. We run a family run hotel and it's from morning till night. So definitely from a personal experience, absolutely confidence and learning, and knowledge is power. So definitely, wholeheartedly, but also from the business and how it impacted the business. After we closed on the digital marketing module, I did my final project. So basically, I redid our whole website, and that had significant impact on the business. So we had to have that handed in by, I think it was the beginning of February. So we had a brand new website up and running for the beginning of last year. So, and I mean, the significance of that is in the numbers and the figures and the business that we're getting through the website. And I would never probably have pushed myself to that only for the course that I did. So that in itself is a massive win
Brilliant.
for the business.
Delighted to hear that, Caroline. As I said to Joe Withers there at the beginning, and we did try to make it as practical as possible. It was one of the aims. We can't always do that for every student, but certainly for those that are established or work moving forward, we sometimes are able to make those kind of impacts. And I suppose finally then, Caroline, you talked about managing time. You talked about accessing the materials. Is there any is there any one nugget you would share with people who might be thinking of this or taking on an online course?
Well, I think regardless of what space you're in, if you're, like Neve mentioned, if you're thinking about one of these courses, then clearly sort of, it might be beneficial for you if you're actually thinking about it. So I would definitely encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and do it. Yes, you have to discipline yourself. Yes, you have to make time. Yes, it's a little bit extra. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it takes more, but afterwards it does give you the confidence, like I said, personally, and it will help your business. Knowledge is power. So I definitely encourage you to do it. And you meet new people along the way, even people that I've met on the course. I'm still in contact with them now from a hospitality point and networking. So I can only highly recommend it. And I would like to just say as well, and not just because we're on the call, but everybody is very supportive. No matter what level you feel you're at or how good your academic writing is, or if you've never been to university. I mean, I did go to Queen's, so I had some academic background for sure. But there was people on that course who had none, and everyone was very helpful, and we were all equal. We were all the same, and no one felt intimidated or uncomfortable. And there was always options to go offline and speak to lecturers and get more help and supports. So don't be afraid. Do it. It can only benefit you.
Caroline, thanks a million for
No
taking the
problem.
time
And
out
thank you
again.
for everything throughout the course. I mean, I really mean
Not
that
easy.
wholeheartedly. It's been very beneficial to me and to our
Good.
business.
Brilliant. Excellent. Delighted to hear that,
Thank you so
Caroline.
much, Caroline
Is that okay?
Thank you,
Conor.
Cleo.
Yeah, delighted to meet you both today, and a very inspirational story there. And again, the practical nature of the learning and the impact that it's had, not only on Caroline personally, but on the business as well, is evident through the conversation you've just had. So I really do thank you for joining in today, and hopefully you've encouraged some people to think further about their options. So now we'll move on. So we are joined by Dr. Domhnall Melly. And again, we're still in the theme of tourism and hospitality. And I know we're running over time a little bit, but hopefully I know everybody's still online with us. There is a programme there, Domhnall, you're going to talk about sustainable tourism and event management.
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Cleo, and hello, everyone. So I'm introducing our relatively new course, which is Level 9 Masters in Sustainable Tourism and Event Management. Relatively new, and it's designed to coincide with the, I suppose, recent trends around the whole sector and industry of tourism and events in their transition to net zero and to be more sustainable. It's fully online, 1 hour per week per subject, with 3 subjects per week, and that's in your first year. And that's designed there to coincide with professionals in the industry and facilitate those professionals continue with their employment while they also progress their studies and upskill within the sector. In your second year then, you have a capstone research project where you'll actually have a less amount of contact time with us in terms of your teaching contact, so 1.5 hours, and there you'll focus in on a specific area of interest to you, whether it's tourism, destination management, or festivals and events, and you'll have a supervisor there for your entire year. So it's a full 2 years for an entire master's in that context. A lot of the subjects there are centered around recent developments within the sector, and we designed it very carefully to be applied, but also very relevant to the sector for tourism and event management. So looking at the impact management and also the complexities around planning for tourism and events and the need to be strategic in that context. Equally, we look at the need to now measure and monitor. So we can't manage what we don't measure within the tourism industry. We need evidence to support the decisions across festivals and events, whether it's addressing over-tourism, destination management, or indeed specific concerns around an event or tourism and event enterprise. So in terms of its job opportunities, currently we've professionals already existing within the industry, or we've also a blend of people who are new to the sector. Potential opportunities entail sustainable tourism officers, destination marketing directors, or specifically from the event perspective, event product and production specialists, venue operation managers, just to name a few. There's also funding available for the program. So we've SkillsNet funding secured that you can apply for, which will actually capture 35% of your actual fees for the course. Its entry requirements consist of an ordinary degree in a business or subject-related area of tourism and events. Equally, we welcome people in from the recognition of prior learning and experiential learning. So whether you have previous educational experience or indeed if you're employed in the sector recently, that will be considered in your entry requirements. Also, just to point out that we facilitate people within the sector, and not even in the sector, if they're working in general, there's professionals looking to upskill within this area. We've 1 hour per week per subject. This is all recorded, so you can come back and revisit the material. For each subject we've designed, and you can see it there on your screen for year 1, we have a toolkit designed that you can open up for each subject on our virtual learning environment. That consists of videos, interactive material, journal articles, and other relevant industry policy documents. That pretty much encapsulates the insights into the program. Again, you can contact admissions to get in contact with myself for any further questions on it, and I wish you the very best in your future decisions and education. Thank you.
Thanks, Donald. I will just ask, I mentioned one thing again around this program is flexible in nature as well. Like there are different certificates and exit points as well, isn't there, for this? So again, if the master's in 2 years maybe seems, a bit too much of a commitment, there are options
Yeah.
there, aren't there?
Yeah, there's other options available. So you can undertake the full 2-year course, or if you're looking to do a shorter course, you can undertake a postgraduate certificate, which is just the first year, and you can leave at that point. Or alternatively, you can actually undertake a certificate, which is a semester, so half of an academic year. And that's again highlighting just the flexibility in the nature to upskill at certain levels in this area.
Yeah, and I'm sure anybody working in the tourism and event management sector is being faced with these challenges daily around sustainability and compliance and that. So this is obviously something that's a hot topic within the sector.
Absolutely, and a lot of the assessments are centered around the students' actually workplace, sort of providing value, and it's very applied in its nature. So, for example, strategic planning and policy, the students went away and redesigned a full sustainable policy for their organisation, aligned with the Sustainable Development Goals, encapsulating measuring and monitoring tools in there. So it's not just subjective decisions around their organisation, they're able to actually evidence what they're doing. And this also coincides with a lot of the tsunami of legislation around decarbonisation and sustainability coming from the EU level and European Commission. For example, the Green Claims Directive is going to completely eradicate greenwashing. So a lot of these organisations and tourism and events are going to have to evidence what they're doing, or there's serious repercussions. But that equally provides opportunity for students to upskill in this area and fill that void.
Yeah, so there's going to be definitely demand for this skill set. If it's not there already within an organisation, it's needed for the future. So thank you so much, Donald, for giving that overview. Really do appreciate it. And as you say, it's all quite new, so it's very up to date in terms of the thinking that's out there at the minute. So I'd encourage anybody to go online and look at the programme videos there, and there's a lot of information on it. So thank you, Donald, for hanging on and staying with us today. I'm going to move on now. And finally, our most patient person on the call is Clare Gilsenan. So Clare, you're going to talk to us about the certificate in pastry and baking skills, and that's going to finish off our talk on tourism and hospitality.
Lovely stuff. Thanks a million, Cleo. So as Cleo has said, folks, my name is Clare Gilsenan. I'm one of a team of two, privileged to teach on our Special Purpose Award in Pastry and Baking. And essentially, this programme is designed to introduce skills for those with a passion for pastry and baking and making your desserts. I suppose ideally it's suited for people who maybe are working in a culinary kitchen or environment and they're wishing to upskill in the area of pastry and baking, but perhaps you're looking for a career change. So we've had a number of students over the years who have, because of the flexibility of the course that it's only 1 day a week, have opted to come in and learn a new skill, and they have got jobs within the culinary sector as apprentice bakers, within cake decorators, all sorts of different roles. As you can see on the screen, the programme comprises of two 10-credit modules. So the first one, the Art of Pastry and Baking 1, and the Art of Pastry and Baking 2. In the Art of Pastry and Baking 1, the learner really is provided with the opportunity to practice pastry, bakery and desserts required for a more sustainable contemporary professional kitchen. So, for instance, the learner will be able to identify ingredients, equipment, various techniques and a range of artisan, seasonal and locally available produce necessary for the production of pastry, bakery and dessert products. In addition, they'll be able to explain the scientific principles underpinning all the processes that we use within the pastry kitchen. And within the second module, the Art of Pastry and Baking 2, learners will design and create modern, innovative pastry baking desserts, and again cognizant of sustainability and current national and international trends. In this instance, the learner will be able to employ modern techniques to adapt classical desserts and confectionery products to a more contemporary style. And they'll also be able to apply innovative concepts of composition, taste, design, texture to more allergy-aware pastry, bakery and desserts. There is a mandatory attendance of 1 day a week for the academic year, and it's comprised of 8 hours of in-person classes per week. But students are expected to undertake some self-directed learning using theory supports via our VLE. Lastly, I suppose I'd just like to say that the module is 100% continuously assessed, meaning that there is no final exams. Instead, the learner will be assessed weekly on their skills development and their knowledge, and periodically we will undertake practical skills tests as well as a couple of online quizzes. And actually the very last thing, so the graduate careers typically include commie pastry chef, apprentice bakers, apprentice patisserie. Some people set up their own home business as a result of doing this course, and we've had a number of successful students holding down jobs in pastry kitchens and setting up their own business. That's all I think I have, Cleo. Thanks a million for that.
That was lovely. Thank you. And I think that's a lovely way to end this, because we've gone from really hard skills in terms of people management to the practical skills of pastry and baking, which has made us all hungry, and we've all sat through this over lunch. So I really do appreciate you going through that. And as with all of them, there's an email address there for further information, and on the ATU website as well, if you look up the pastry and baking skills certificate course, you'll find out more information. Thank you so much, Claire, for staying on and going through all that with us. So now I know we've gone over time, so we've a couple of extra slides here around funding opportunities. Each of our lecturers talked about the different funding. Some are SkillNet funding, some may have Springboard funding, which will be announced shortly, and others, like Aine mentioned at the start, the Higher Cert in Business is eligible for SUSI funding for part-time courses. So again, we have a fees and funding guide on the website, so please do familiarise yourself with those and see if you can get any funding supports to encourage and help you maybe overcome that in terms of making sure that you can proceed with your desire to study further. We also have an alumni scholarship as well for anybody who potentially was a graduate of any of our ATU or our legacy campuses. If they want to go on and do a Thought Level 9 Masters programme, you can get up to 20% off your fees if you register on a Thought Level 9 postgraduate programme. So more information on that is on atu.ie/alumni. All the programmes we talked about today, there is a full part-time prospectus available on the ATU website. You can scan it there in the QR code, but you can also download it at atu.ie/flexible. It gives you all the information. And again, if you're talking to your employer or anybody that may be helping to fund your programme and is wanting more information about the modules and the learning and the time commitments, that's all in the prospectus. We have some further events coming up, so I'll just flash those up on screen there. But again, if you go to atu.ie/events, we have further webinars in different discipline areas. So again, if you have a friend that's interested, please do tell. We have in July, we'll have one dedicated to funding courses. So again, when Springboard is announced and there is funding available, we'll go over that with everybody on the 9th of July. We have applications are open at the minute, as I mentioned, for most of the courses that were talked through today. The application deadline is the 15th of August, so you still have time, but we do advise people to apply early. The entry requirements are on the website. The application forms are all accepted online, and your application is academically assessed, and then offers are made to eligible applicants, and then you'll be invited to register in mid-August or early September for the semester starting. It's usually like the second, third week in September when teaching commences. And then finally, I just want to say thank you. A lot of our lecturers today spoke about recognition of prior learning as well. If you do want to find out a little bit more about that, where you may not meet the standard entry requirements, you can go on to atu.ie/RPL, and that will give you information about how to apply for RPL, but also module exemptions as well that you may be eligible for. And I really do want to thank everybody on the panel today. It was a very ambitious agenda. We had 13 speakers and we had 45 minutes, so we did go over, but this is recorded, and if people had to drop off, I see that most people did stay on, which was fantastic. You'll be able to watch back, and we'll share that with everybody who is registered with us to attend.